It's day 2. Day 3 might even be even harder. Here in Kentucky, it is getting colder by the minute. And it's kind of rainy and spitty, but that's okay. I mean, it's so invigorating to be out here. And my husband got us a hot tub, not a fancy one, but just one of those blow up ones like you can get at Costco. But hey, it's gonna feel really good after this chilly walk. But it's supposed to, I think tomorrow, it's gonna be down in the 20s, and that's okay. But it is not quite sunrise, but even in the 10 minutes or so that I've been out here, 15 minutes, it has gotten brighter, I think. And with as foggy as it is, and cloudy, and anyway, I'm not saying that word right. We're not going to actually see the sun, but we see the effects of the sun, right? The lightness still comes, even when you can't see the sun. And I'm sure there's a good analogy and a metaphor in there. And one of I'm going to show y'all this. Those lights up there on that hill across the lake. And one of the reasons we cannot have a path all around this lake is named Reformatory Lake. That is a prison over there. And don't we all put ourselves in prisons? Or aren't we all in some kind of prison? I know I felt that way back when I was in the cycle, the amnesia cycle of enjoying my wine to relax in the evening. It was like my reward, my treat, and then having to deal with the consequences the next day. But by the time, the evening came around, I would forget all about it. But every morning I would be like, oh, I need to cut back, or I shouldn't do that every day. And yet I was stuck on that hamster wheel, in that prison. And I didn't know I had the freedom to just get out of choice. I felt like I didn't have a choice. Have you felt that way about something? That you're doing something and you don't know why you're doing it, and you're doing it anyway? That is, that's pretty common. I think we're all in that. If you're human, you have felt that way before. And if you haven't, message me, because I'd like to learn more. How do you do that? It's so awesome out here to feel this chill and the wind, and to even honor myself on day 2. Do you know when you start something, that decision period, like will I, won't I, is sometimes the hardest. And then when you just drive that stake in the ground, even declare it like I've done, and you make it so that you've got to do it. You've got to show up and do it. And you've really worked on, why are you doing this? What's the reason? What am I hoping to get from this? And then also, in some ways, letting go of expectations. It's a really interesting balance, because you don't want to be so tied to a specific outcome that you don't allow the magic and the unfolding to also happen, and the growth, and being able to maneuver. And these first few days are some of the toughest, and oftentimes we don't give proper credit, and we diminish. Oh, it's only day 1. Oh, I only had a small win. This is when it's the hardest, and you hopefully will make day 60, easy. Day 15, easier. Day 30, oh, I'm starting to get the hang of this. We can do this. It's those early days and those early efforts that are actually the big ones. But sometimes we, fall into the comparison trap, and we look at somebody that's already achieved what it is we want, and they make it look so easy. But this is how it gets easy, by doing the hard work of just showing up in the beginning and doing it and fumbling and not knowing what you're doing, but just having the courage to do it anyway. So this is going to be a short one. Tomorrow may be even shorter, but that's okay. I'm going to do it. And you are coming with me. And whatever it is you're working on and wanting to rise and shine for, I'd love to hear about it. And we can go on this journey together. We can rise and shine together. Maybe that's what we'll call this. Somebody had suggested that I even call it Rise and Shine with Felicia, but I don't want this to be about me. This is about you. And you, and you, and you, and us, and what can we do together? In my method, in my overall method called Own It for Good, that's what the good for good means. It's like the collective good, the common good. What's good for you, truly good for you, also ripples out and is good for others. And that doesn't mean that what is good for you always feels good. Am I right? Whether it's eating your vegetables and fruits, eating whole foods, and eating less of the things that have been chemically designed to hook us. The wine, the buying of and acquiring of new things that brings temporary feel-goodness. But what is truly good for you is oftentimes saying no to those things. Or rather than even focus on saying no to those things, saying yes to the other things that make us really feel good in the bigger picture and scheme of things. Like me, getting my butt out of my comfortable chair in the morning where I can really get stuck in. So that is part of my goal. And then the ripple effect of that one decision, oftentimes it's that one decision, that one thing that is the push that pushes those other dominoes or other things over. And often it's not the thing that we want to do or that's the sexy or cool thing to do. It is the one thing that we don't want to do, we don't want to give up, but we know if we did that, and you know what your thing is. And for me, a few years ago, it was, my nightly date with Chardonnay. And just telling her, oh, we got to break up, girl. You're not good for me. Because I've got a lot of things over here that I want to do. And that one decision, like everything got handed to me. And that's not really true. It didn't get just handed to me. But it freed up my brain from decision fatigue. Will I, won't I, managing, trying to moderate, blah, 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 blah. Who wants all of that noise in my head? I didn't. And it has allowed me to 10x my life. And that's what this is going to do for me too. It's going to get me to that next level. This is Felicia 2.0 right now, but we're heading to 3.0. We're rising and shining this year and seeing, but I'm not so tied to a specific outcome. I'm trusting the process because I know this is my lead domino right now that needs to be dealt with and pushed over. That's going to make so many other things in my life just kind of fall into place. So anyway, that's what I have this morning. Happy rise and shine. Tell me what you're going to be doing in your life. What's your What's your one thing that you need to own and work on and work it out and push over?